Did you know cheetahs can run up to 75 miles an hour? Or did you know a Tyrannosaurus rex is a type of theropod dinosaur? And April is Autism Awareness Month. Well, these are some of the random facts you would hear from my brother's mouth on a daily basis. Asperger Syndrome is a rare form of autism with less than 200,000 cases a year in the US. And my brother was one of those 200,000. So today I'll be answering some questions like, what is autism? What is Asperger Syndrome? And where it came from? What are some symptoms? How is it diagnosed? And what are some treatments? And also, what it is like living with someone not only diagnosed with Asperger Syndrome, but ADHD and ADD. So did you know autism has its own functionality spectrum? Autism is a range of conditions that has challenges in the social and communication forms. It struggles with social skills, repetitive behaviors, and speech and nonverbal communication. Asperger syndrome is on the higher form of the autism scale, and it is a developmental disorder that makes it hard for them to connect with peers of their own age. Now, how long does it take for you to get used to a different routine? Studies show less than 21 days, but according to Aspen, Asperger Autism Spectrum Education Network, Asperger Syndrome, kids with Asperger Syndrome struggle to deal with those changes. Now, some other symptoms are sensitivity to environment, loud noises. They struggle in big crowds, and they struggle to understand nonverbal cues. Some other criteria or symptoms that they use to diagnose when diagnosing autism, there are some misdiagnoses, like they could be mistaken for ADHD, ADD, or even autism. The one difference between autism is the delayed communication and social connectivity. Asperger syndrome, they have normal language development and normal speech, but specifically according to the DSM-IV, they have a severe disdain impairment in social interaction and development of restricted repetitive patterns of behavior, interests, and activities that must cause clinically significant impairment in social, occupational, and other important areas of functionality. DSM-IV is the fourth edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, written by the American Psychiatric Association. Now, some therapies, they don't have treatments. There's no specific cure or way to handle this. They use therapies like cognitive behavioral, speech, group therapies, all sorts of different therapies, or medications like SSRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitors, antipsychotics, and stimulants to treat anxiety, ADHD, ADD. But like I said, these are not a cure. They just help them get through the day. Now, this was a lot of information to research, but one thing that you cannot research is what it's like living with someone that has Asperger's. When I was 10, my brother was diagnosed with ADHD and mild autism. He would have meltdowns in school, which compared to a tantrum, meltdowns, he didn't notice who was looking at him or who was reacting to how he was behaving, like a kid with throwing a tantrum would. He would freak out and hide under desks. It was so bad they'd have to call my mom because he would not come out. He was prescribed Concerta, which would help calm him down throughout the day, help him focus. Clonidine would help him sleep at night. And between those two medications, they were lower, or he would eat a lot, but he wouldn't gain the weight from eating. So the mirtazapine would help him gain that weight back. Finally, about a year ago, he's growing again. Now, these were happening at home. or at school and outside of the home. At home, his medicine was wearing off. Siblings were fighting. Homework was a chore. He couldn't focus, so we'd have to sit there. We'd lose patience. It would cause many arguments. Now, someone at church noticed that he was having symptoms similar to her son's. She told my mom about the possibility of Asperger's, and my mom brought it up to the doctor. Specialists were brought in. He was analyzed, went through a couple of tests, and 2 years after being diagnosed with mild autism, they realized he had Asperger Syndrome. There's only a few cases, so it's rarely caught, which could lead to misdiagnosis. Now, we have talked about what is Asperger Syndrome, what is autism, how it was brought up, symptoms, diagnosis, and treatments, and now I explained how I experience Asperger Syndrome. And today I hope my brother will learn the balance between life and the Asperger's and not let it control his life forever. Thank you.